Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Lucky Buns, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing all of you the best storage management tips and tricks in Pokemon Go. This is hopefully going to help a lot of you guys prevent hoarding. You know, don't hoard your Pokemon. There's really no need to. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter asking for more storage space, and guys, we have 3,000 storage space currently in Pokemon Go. You really don't need more than that. Personally speaking, I only have 1,800 storage space, and I don't even use all of it. Like, honestly, I have about 200 to 300 readily available for me, which I would say is about the average that you want to have in free space. You want to have about 100 to 300 would be ideal. Anything more than that is kind of excessive. Anything under that is, well, you kind of have a hoarding problem. That being said, though, hopefully this video does help a lot of you guys declutter or at least get more organization in your Pokemon storage, because I do see that a lot on Twitter, on YouTube, pretty much everywhere I go when it comes to Pokemon Go. People are just very disorganized, and my goal in this video is to help you guys, I guess, get more organized and to show you that you don't actually need 3,000 storage space regardless of what you're collecting. And I'm gonna go over this at the end of the video, but it doesn't matter, guys. Like, you can have collections and you can still have a manageable storage space. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is I want you to go ahead and click on the recent sort option. So that's gonna be in the bottom right hand corner. So you can see right here, I clicked on it, and it's going to be the top option that says recent. Now, of course, you have other options that you can sort by, but for this video specifically, I want you guys to sort by recent. So now that we've done that, I want you to use a search string, and this is going to essentially help you find the trash Pokemon in your Pokemon storage, which is going to, I guess, generalize what you need to transfer first, and then we're going to dive into more specifics as we go on. But this is the first general filter that I want you guys to use. So go ahead and type in 0, star, comma, space 1 star comma space 2 star comma, or I guess you don't need the comma at the end. And this will basically pull up everything that is not good IVs. Now from here, guys, I want you to go ahead and transfer everything that you don't need. Everything that you don't need candy for, everything that you just don't care to evolve later on in the future. I want you to go ahead and transfer all of it. Now, of course, if there's a Pokemon that is kind of rare, like this Shinx, for example, that you do want candy on in a future date, or you do want to transfer it for like a double candy event or something along those lines, don't transfer that, obviously. This is just to transfer all the things that you don't need, and this pretty much eliminates the possibility of them being good IVs, right? Because this search filter pretty much just highlights everything that is going to be 2 stars or less. Anything that's 3 stars, anything that's 4 stars, that would be a hundo, is not going to be in this filter. Therefore, it does make it a lot easier to kind of go through and single some of these Pokemon out. Now, of course, depending on what you're collecting, depending on what you're holding for your friends, what you're going to transfer is going to vary. So for example, some people might be going for like lucky hundo Pikachus with Lucario hats, so they might not want to transfer those, but for me, I'm not going for that, so I'm just going to transfer most of them. The same thing goes with a lot of these other Pokemon. Like, I'm not going to use Turtwig for anything. I already have a army of Torterra. I'm not going to use the Hippo. I'm not going to use Krogunk. I already have a maxed out Toxicroak. Now when it comes down to it though, maybe you're looking for a Krogunk with good PvP IVs. In that case, you wouldn't want to transfer them. You want to keep them kind of readily available, then you can IV check them. But not including those, guys, we're just transferring everything that we don't need. So once you've gone ahead and done this, and I'll kind of go through and I'll do this a little bit later, I'll just transfer these for right now, just as an example. So let's transfer all the trash, right? The trash that we don't need. So now that you've done that, what I want you to do next is I want you to find what you actually have that's good. So go ahead and type in 3 star and see what you have in your recent. So right here, you can see these are all the good IV Pokemon that I have. So all these C-Dot are good IVs, guys. They're going to be 3-star appraisal ratings, which is pretty good. More often than not, you're going to find your better IV Pokemon in here. Now from here, guys, you can decide what you actually want to keep. So for me personally, I don't like to spend a lot of Stardust on my power-ups here. So if there's a good IV C-Dot that's like CP 90 and it's only like a level, I don't know what this is, maybe like a level 7, level 8, I don't really care. Like, even if it's like close to a hundo, even if it's like a 98% IV, it's going to cost me way too much Stardust to power this thing up. So I'm going to transfer everything that's just a low level, because that's personally out of my standards. Now, if you guys don't care, if you guys have tons of Stardust to burn, then by all means, I guess you could power it up if you wanted to, if it had really good IVs, but I just don't like to do that. I just don't think it's worth it. So I'm going to get rid of everything that I personally think is a low level, and I'm going to keep everything else that's kind of a high level that has pretty good IVs, because from here, guys, I can just evolve it straight up. Like, this has 15 attack, and it's good to go. Now, of course, depending on what you're using it for, like in this case, C-Dot, Shiftry would be used for Ultra League, with them being this high. So ideally, I would want anything close to a hundo, which none of these guys actually get close to a hundo. This one has 15 attack though. Do keep in mind that everyone's standards are going to vary, but this is kind of how I personally personally do it, so I don't actually need any of these because I already have a hundo, so I'm just going to transfer everything. And you kind of have to be a little bit savage when you come down to your transfers because you're not going to need everything, guys. Like, if you already have a hundo, why do you need another one? You know, I mean, maybe for like a collection thing, but you don't need a 98 at that point, right? Like, you don't need to keep 98s, you don't need to keep 96s. Even if it's like a level 29, it's like, what are you gonna do with it? You have to always ask yourself that question, why? Like, do I have a purpose for any of these Pokemon that I'm deciding to keep? So right here you can see, and I'm gonna use this as an example, that I have a Mawile, a Metagross, a Beldum, Groudon, Clamperl, Shinx, etc., right? So each of these Pokemon have labels. Now, these Pokemon that have labels are Pokemon that have a reason for keeping them. Everything else that doesn't have a label, that's pretty much my indication to transfer it and just let it go because I cannot give myself a reason for why I actually need to keep it. That's what I want you guys to do as well. I want you guys to always ask yourself the question why. Always ask yourself the question why, and that's going to help you out a ton in the future when it comes down to keeping Pokemon that you really don't need. So now that we've gone ahead and done the 3-star, let's go ahead and run the 4-star right now, check for any potential hundos. Obviously I don't have anything that recent. You guys can see right here though, my hundo collection is pretty nice, 174 hundos, so yeah, definitely proud of that. Now, of course, you guys can also do this in the reverse order as well. So if you want to check for hundos first, if you want to check for 3-star second, and then you want to do your trash filter later, that's also perfectly fine. I just did it in this order just for no particular reason, actually. Now, additionally, I do also want to point out that if you guys are curious what's actually good in Pokemon Go or what potentially you could be using in the future, I do have 2 guides that kind of go over the best Pokemon to use in 2020 and the best budget Pokemon to use in 2020. So that hopefully should give you a better idea of what you want to keep. And both of those videos will be linked in the description below, as well as in the top right corner right now. I should link at least one of them. So make sure to check out those videos if you guys are having a hard time figuring out what's actually good to use in Pokemon Go, because I know a lot of players don't actually know what's good, and so those videos should hopefully clarify things for you. Now that we've gone through the general filters, I want you guys to start marking everything for easy search accessibility, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do that right now. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to use a 1-symbol character. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a few examples on how I personally utilize this symbol feature. So like I said, guys, ideally you want it to be a 1-symbol icon. So for example, all of my distance trades, basically everything that is over 100 kilometers is going to have this dash icon. And this highlights everything, guys. So this has my egg hatches, this has pretty much everything that is over 100 kilometers that I can use to get 3 candy, or at least help my friend get 3 candy on their trade. And this is a great way, guys, to actually get rare Pokemon because a lot of people want to maximize the amount of candy they get per transfer. So for example, in the flip side of this, I would have everything marked as the yen symbol with the number 3. This will pull up everything that I want at least 3 candy on from a trade. And as you guys can see right here, this is a lot of rare Pokemon. This is personally everything that I want candy for. Now, when it comes down to it, my friend who's trading with me has to obviously have a Pokemon that's at least 100 kilometers away for me to get the 3 candy, but everything on here, guys, I want to get at least 3 candy for. And so those are going to be 2 examples of search filters that you guys can use. Do you see how, like, instead of typing in the whole word trade, I just typed in the yen symbol and the number 3? And easily it comes up. And similarly, guys, I use the yen symbol plus a character followed right after to kind of highlight a lot of things here. So let me search it by name. Then I can show you guys the kinds of search filters that I have, and this ultimately keeps me organized. This helps me figure out, okay, like this is what I'm keeping this for. So for example, we have 3 Pokemon on the top here. These are going to be transfers to Let's Go whenever I decide to get around to that. If we scroll down here, we have all my legacy Pokemon. And if we continue scrolling down, I already showed you guys the Pokemon that I'm keeping for the 3 candy trades. And then if you continue scrolling down, we have my 2017 Pokemon that I'm keeping for trades. And we have my level 1 Pokemon that I'm keeping for trades. And if I scroll even further down, I have a lot of other random Pokemon that I don't really care for, but I just figured I probably should trade them away, so I have legendaries down here. If I gave it a plus icon on top of the yen symbol, that means that it's going to be a rarer trade. So for example, these Dragonites are powered up, guys. They're like level 31 Dragonites, and so if I'm gonna trade this away, I definitely want something good for them because it's not like a regular trade. And so the key takeaway here, guys, is that I was able to find all of these Pokemon that I potentially want to trade under 1 symbol, and I didn't have to type in the whole word trade. Like, instead of typing in 5 letters, I typed in 1 symbol, and everything that I wanted to trade came up, and it's all organized. Everything is organized. And similarly, guys, if you want to add a little bit more diversification like I did, like for example, I have the 2017 Pokemon I have Legacy, I have level 1 Pokemon that I have for trades, and I just have like general trades down here as well. I have distance trades, you name it, right? You can add as many filters or as many letters on afterwards, but the idea is to have that one symbol pull up everything that you want, right? So similarly with the dash icon, having all my distance trades right here, this is everything that I want that is going to be 100 kilometers away. And so pretty much when I'm trading with someone, if I want to get candy on something or if I want to help them get candy on something, I literally just type in the dash symbol and everything comes up that's a distance trade. So it's really as simple as that. Now I'm going to show you guys one more filter as well. This is going to be the question mark filter, which pulls up all of my extra shiny Pokemon. So you guys can see right here that I have 214 extra shiny Pokemon that I'm just keeping in my storage. Now, if you're a savage and you can actually transfer some of these, like a lot of the useless ones like cast form, then more power to you. At the end of the day though, this does kind of keep everything organized. So in case someone's like, hey, like I'm looking for shiny Pokemon, what extras do you have? I can literally just type in question mark and it pulls up every single shiny Pokemon, guys, every single shiny extra Pokemon that I have. And this search accessibility, guys, is huge when it comes down to trading with people in person, because at the end of the day, like you don't want to be searching for a Pokemon that you may or may not have. You want it to just be there. You want it to be easy to find. And so utilizing this search feature by renaming your Pokemon as one symbol, and you can add on other stuff afterwards, right? So for example, this Ampharos, I have the legacy symbol right there, which indicates that it's going to have the legacy move Dragon Pulse, and therefore I don't have to click on the Pokemon, I already know that it's going to have that move. Or for example, this Lapras or this Aerodactyl, which I've indicated with 2 pluses at the end of it, that showcases that it's going to be a really, really rare shiny that I'm not going to just give up for anything. So opposed to maybe trading the Sentret for like a community day Pokemon, I would not trade an Aerodactyl, a shiny Aerodactyl, for a community day Pokemon. I would expect something of the same value. This will also help clarify to the trainers that you are trying to trade with what you consider to be rare and what kind of quality you would want in return. So for example, if I was trying to trade away this Lapras, I would either want a mirror trade or I would want something of the same rarity. Same thing goes with the shiny Kangaskhan, and to be honest, this thing is even rarer, so if I really wanted to, I could add an extra plus just to indicate how rare this Pokemon actually is. You know, personally speaking, the shiny regionals are definitely among the rarest Pokemon to trade right now, so if you value a Pokemon like that a lot, definitely make sure to indicate it here, because as you kind of go through and showcase it to your trade partners, they're going to see everything and they're going to be like, okay, like I'll trade you a Ralts for a Seedot, and you're like, okay, that's a fair trade, right? They're both community day Pokemon. But for example, if you only have like 2 shiny Ralts, you're not going to want to trade that up because that's rare to you. So make sure to indicate that when you do kind of create these search filters for yourself. Anyways, though, going back to my main point here, the idea behind this, guys, the idea behind doing this is to ultimately make your life a lot easier. Now finally, one more filter I want to go over is the level 30 filter. So I type in L3 and this pulls up everything that is level 30 or higher, which I've already gone ahead and marked, guys. So once again, you have to go ahead and rename all of your Pokemon to what you want them to come up under, but this basically shows me everything that I have that is level 30 or higher, and this is going to be pretty much, if I trade it and the person gets good IVs on this Pokemon, they can evolve it right away. They don't have to power it up, it's already level 30, it's good to go. These are battle ready Pokemon. And so this battle ready filter, if you pretty much create it with a bunch of meta relevant Pokemon, so like I have Eevees here, I have Rhyhorns here, I have Machop, what else do I have? I have Togetic, I have Sneasel, I have Ralts. These are all meta relevant Pokemon, guys. And so if I'm trading with someone and let's say we end up going lucky, we can just evolve it on the spot. Level 30 is battle ready. And so if you utilize these filters and you teach your friends about it, which of course I definitely recommend you share this video with your friends, you can ultimately get a lot of battle ready Pokemon while spending the minimal amount of Stardust to actually get them. And so the whole point of the search functionality is to be able to find these Pokemon that you're looking for in either 1 or 2 symbols at most. Obviously, if you want to extend the filter out, you can do that as well, but ideally, guys, if I type in Yen, I'm going to see all the Pokemon I want to trade. If I type in Dash, I'm going to see all the Pokemon that I have for distance trades. If I type in question mark, I'm going to see everything that I have that is going to be an extra shiny. If I type in L3, I'm going to see all of my level 30 Pokemon that I have available for trade. And so that's going to be how the search functionality works. This will help you stay organized whenever you have Pokemon that you want to trade or Pokemon that you want to utilize during a specific event. For example, the double transfer candy events are really good. So if you want to keep all of your legendaries under 1 symbol, that's another way to do it as well. That way, when it comes down to transferring your Pokemon, whether that be in a 1-hour time window or a 24-hour time window, you can find all of them immediately, and that's going to save you a lot of time in the long run. Now with that being said though, we got to move on over to a very tough topic to talk about, and that is going to be picking the collections that you want to keep in your Pokemon storage. It's definitely a really tough topic to talk about because a lot of players struggle deleting their collections, it's definitely not something a lot of us like to do because we're all collectors, you know? Most of us are collectors that play this game. And so when it comes down to it though, you have to actually pick which ones you want because you can't have them all. So ultimately guys, pick your favorite collections. I'm gonna give you guys my examples of what I personally collect and what I personally don't collect. So I collect shiny Pokemon, I collect shadow Pokemon, I collect hundo Pokemon, I collect lucky shiny Pokemon, and I collect unique fighters. Now with that being said, I don't collect a living dex and I don't collect purified Pokemon, and I also only have 1800 space. So if you have like 3000 storage, you could potentially have more collections, but you're also going to be limited on storage space. So let's say for example, you want to collect shiny Pokemon or you want to collect shadow Pokemon, you can do that, but you can't also have like a living dex for example, or a purified collection as well. You have to pick your favorite collections, and I know it sucks to hear guys, like it's not something any of us really want to hear, but you have to just pick what you really want to collect because you cannot collect everything. You can only collect so much, and obviously 3000 storage is kind of our limit right now, but even at only 1800 storage space guys, I can still have a shiny collection, I can still have a shadow collection, and I can still have a lucky collection with a bunch of unique fighters. Unique fighters is not something everyone does. As someone who does a lot of raid challenges, that's why I personally use a lot of unique fighters, and so for me, that's something that I collect. Now with that being said though, because I only choose to collect these certain types of Pokemon, that allows me to actually hold on to rare Pokemon that I need candy for, which I showed you guys already. The yen +3 symbol is going to be for my rare Pokemon that I need candy for. I also collect level 1s for trading. Those are just for the tiny collectors out there. I have my distance trade, which is going to be the dash Pokemon. I'm also able to keep my level 30 to level 35 meta relevant Pokemon, which if I trade it to someone and it ends up rolling good IVs, that's basically a battle ready Pokemon. So I keep those to help other trainers, to help them get good fighters. And I definitely do encourage a lot of you guys to do that as well, because you're gonna help out your friends, and if they do the same thing as well, they're gonna be able to help out you. I'm also able to keep all of my extra shinies, and thankfully I haven't had to transfer any of them yet, but of course this is not the case for everybody. My shiny luck is not as good as some other people, and so you will have to transfer shinies. It really just depends guys. If you can transfer those shinies, more power to you. I personally struggle with that, so I just kind of keep them. That being said though, I can also afford to keep them, so it's really not that big of a deal. And then finally, I'm able to keep all my legacy Pokemon as well. So all those extra Pokemon guys that I end up keeping, the rare Pokemon, the level 1s, distance trades, level 30 to level 35, good fighters, extra shinies, legacy Pokemon, all that stuff. I can keep all that stuff because I don't have a living dex. I don't have a purified dex. I don't keep a lot of extra fighters. I only keep what's actually necessary to me. So keep that in mind guys, only keep what you actually need. And if you can avoid keeping a living dex and instead replacing it with like a shiny dex or like a shadow dex or something like that, that's gonna be a little bit cooler in my opinion. So you have to just utilize what you actually want to keep, and you have to decide for yourself, what is my favorite collection? Like, do I really like shiny Pokemon? Do I not care for shiny Pokemon? Do I like shadow Pokemon? Do I want hundos? Do I want lucky shinies? Do I want unique fighters of every single different Pokemon evolved? Everyone is going to have different preferences, and so my objective of this video is not to tell you what you should keep, it's more to give you strategies on how to help you stay organized and how to figure out what you actually want. So now with that being said, I want to go through and kind of show you guys some live examples here. So right here, we're going to sort by recent, and we see that I have a yen 3 symbol on the Shinx. This means that I want to trade it and I want to get 3 candy for this Shinx. I have a Yanma here, which has a dash symbol, which means that it is going to be a distance trade. You can see that I have it hatched from Virginia. And then we have a Mawile, which I also hatched as well, but this Pokemon unfortunately was on a distance trade, so I'm just going to keep it under the yen symbol, which essentially means I'm going to trade it for something, and I don't really care what it's for, but I do know that it is useful, right? It is useful in PvP, so some people might want a good PvP-IV spread for it, therefore it is going to have some trade value. This Finneon right here, this is going to be a Pokemon that I can keep for the tiny collector, so I'm going to rename it right here, the yen symbol and the 1 right there. That way if I do search that up, I will be able to find all of my level 1 Pokemon, and it's going to be just as simple as that. Pikachu, I don't really need it, so I'm going to transfer that. Krogunk, I don't need it personally, but maybe you guys might, so you might want to keep those for PvP IV trades. It really comes down to personal preference, right? So I don't need any of these Pokemon, and you kind of have to just like look at them, and if you can't name them, guys, if you can't give them a symbol, then you probably don't need them, right? Because you're only going to keep the stuff that you actually need, whether that be for trades or for your own collection. It's going to vary depending on each individual, but you guys can see right here that I'm not keeping anything that I don't need. I could keep these C-Dot, right? Like I could keep these because they're like level 30 plus, so I could just rename this level 33, And I could hold on to them, right? Because some people do want that Hundo Shiftry. So some people might just want it at the highest level possible, therefore making it a pretty good trade. Now in this case, you know, this one's going to be pretty good IVs, but I don't really have a use for it, so you have to make that judgment call. You have to be like, hey, am I gonna use it? Is it gonna be useful for trades? And so you can keep it or transfer it depending on those conditions. Now, of course, guys, as I'm going through here, you can see that I'm just transferring pretty much everything because I don't really need it. And we're gonna get to a point where I have like all my Pokemon named, and that's what I want you guys to have as well. Because if you have it named, then you obviously need it for something. You don't know if you're going to obviously utilize that trade function or not, but you do need it for something, right? So let me transfer these C-Dot and then I'll kind of go over that right now. And so as we continue to scroll down, guys, you can see that literally everything I have is going to be named. There's some sort of functionality for these Pokemon, whether or not I'm keeping them for trades or they're battlers myself or it's part of my shadow collection. Everything here, everything in my Pokemon storage is going to be utilized. And that's what you guys have to do as well. You have to ask yourself the question why. I've said this like 7 times in this video already. Just ask yourself why you need to keep it, what you're gonna use it for, or if you just want to collect it. And guys, there's nothing wrong with keeping sentimental Pokemon. There's nothing wrong with keeping collections in this game. I keep a ton of sentimental Pokemon, so I'll showcase some of them right here. This Vaporeon, my very first Vaporeon that I ever caught. This Lapras, I literally ran across Santa Monica Beach to get this Lapras in the wild. Like, it was insane. So yeah, for sure. Even though I'm never going to actually use it in battle, that Pokemon holds a special memory in my heart. And same thing goes with these Dragonites, you know? These Dragonites, we've been through a lot. This Gengar, it's my legacy Gengar that I had from the old days. I remember getting that, I think, at Santa Monica Pier as well. Let me check the date here. Yeah, we got it at Santa Monica as well. So it's okay to keep sentimental Pokemon, guys. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to just be a little bit more strict. Like, make sure that it's a really, really good reason you're keeping that Pokemon. Like, it can't just be like, oh, I caught this Pokemon when I was having dinner with my significant other for like the 500th time. I mean, maybe you can keep it for that reason, but if it's like the 477th time, then you probably don't need that. And, you know, maybe that's not the greatest example, but my point being is that you don't need to keep everything, just keep the stuff that you really, really want. Anything else, guys, like if you have 2016 Pokemon, make sure to mark them. Like, I've marked the 2016 Pokemon that I want to trade. I've marked the 2016 Pokemon that I want to keep. This Golem, I want to keep. This Executor, I want to trade. Therefore, I want to mark them accordingly. And if you go ahead and you mark through everything, guys, you mark your fighters, you mark your trade Pokemon, you mark your extras, you're gonna have a really organized Pokemon storage. And when it comes down to a day where you have to just transfer everything during the middle of a community day, you can do it really, really fast because everything that you already know that you want to keep, everything that you know that you don't really care for is going to be marked. In my opinion, guys, there's really no need for 3,000 Pokemon storage unless you're literally trying to collect everything in the game, which I've already told you guys you cannot do. This game is not designed for everything to be collected. You just have to pick your favorite collections and kind of just go with that. So if you want to collect Shadow Pokemon, go for it. If you want to collect Shiny Pokemon, Hundos, Level 1, the Living Dex, Gender Pokemon, you can do all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to decide which ones you want to collect more than the others. Now, of course, guys, if you are more savage than me, if you can transfer those extra shinies, if you don't feel like you need to keep all those extra legendaries, more power to you. You're gonna have a lot more free storage space available, and ultimately you can decide what you want to do with that storage space. If you want to just have it open, if you want to have it free, readily available, if you want to use that to collect something else. Like, I definitely had enough storage space to start collecting Shadow Pokemon, so I went ahead and did that, but that's only because I had like 400 spots available. So when it comes down to it, guys, when it comes down to you just having a ridiculous amount of storage available, at that point you can kind of decide, hey, maybe I can start another collection, or maybe I can just keep more Pokemon available for trade. Whatever that may be, guys, it is going to be up to you in the end. Now, with that being said, that's pretty much everything I have for you. Hopefully this video did help you guys out. My goal in this video was not to tell you what you don't need. My goal in this video is to show you how to organize your Pokemon effectively and to ultimately give yourself the reasons that you need to transfer them. You know, just always ask yourself why. I'm serious. That's like literally the basis of this. Ask yourself why you need it. Is it a sentimental Pokemon? Are you going to use it as a fighter in raids? Are you going to use it as a fighter in PvP? Do you want to keep it for trades? And so ultimately, if you can give yourself a good reason for why you should keep that Pokemon, then just keep it. It's really just as simple as that, guys. But of course, as I previously mentioned in this video, you cannot collect everything. You have to pick your favorite collections and just kind of go with that. And yeah, you know, ultimately, you can be even more efficient than me if you transfer your shinies, if you transfer your extra trades. You can definitely be a lot more efficient than me. This is everything that I keep. I'm able to manage my Pokemon storage after playing Pokemon Go for 4 years with 1,800. So that's 1,200 less than the maximum. If I can do it at under 1,800, you guys can definitely do it under 2,500 for sure. I do recommend that you share this video with your friends, mainly because you want to get them in the same mindset that you have after watching this video, and that's going to be to have the search accessibility and to just kind of be able to transfer a lot of stuff that they really, really don't need. And even if they don't need it, even if they're kind of hesitant, like, hey, maybe I might need this, maybe I might want to keep this for a trade or something like that, they will at least have their Pokemon organized to where they can just find whatever it is they need in a blink of an eye. And that's really what I wanted to get through to you guys, is that I want you guys to be able to find whatever it is you need immediately. Because when you're trading with someone in person, nobody likes to just kind of like wait 5 minutes for every single trade. You want to know what you want to trade, you want to know what you have readily available, and that's going to not only help out yourself, but it's going to help out your trade partner as well. And yeah, like I said guys, just share this video with your friends. I think this will ultimately be very beneficial to many of you who struggle with storage problems. Personally speaking, I definitely did in the past. For all my free-to-play players out there, we have it a lot tougher than the pay-to-play players because they can just buy more storage whenever they feel like it. For us, we have to get 50 coins every single day, and then we can upgrade at 200 coins respectively, but that does take some time, especially if you can't even get your 50 coins every single day. And with the new changes in Australia, I don't imagine they are getting their 50 coins every single day. That being said though, hopefully these tips do help you guys out. Once again, the more savage you can be, the more space you are going to have available. The less savage you can be, that's kind of where the hoarding problem comes in. But I believe in all of you guys. I know that all of you guys are going to be successful after watching this video. Hopefully these tips did help you out. If they did, definitely make sure to hit that like button down below. And if you do want to see more of these tutorial videos in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. And I will see you all real soon in the next one.